Hi everyone, this is Mary, you're in Mary Reads. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a discussion about The Man in the Iron Mask by Alexandre Dumas. I finished this book 2 days ago and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, tell you what I think about it, because I did not like the book. Unfortunately, I didn't. And I was thinking about just talking about this book when I do the monthly wrap-up, but I just had so much to say that I realized that I will probably need a full video about it. This video is going to be with spoilers, with a lot of spoilers, because we're going to discuss the whole book. So if you are planning on reading this book and you don't want to know anything about it, then you probably shouldn't watch this video. Just please like it and let me know if you want to read it in the comments. But if you've read this book, or if you're not planning on reading it anytime soon, this is a video for you. And before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot and makes me very happy to see new people. So I've wanted to read this book for a while now. I knew about it a long time ago. I really was interested, but I never kind of stumbled upon it, and I couldn't find it in the bookstores. So I was like, okay, at some point I will read it, and then I forgot about it. And then when I saw it in the library, I realized that I should probably take it. It's a great opportunity, why not? So I got the book. And what I didn't realize is that this is the final part of the Three Musketeers series. So this is about our four friends kind of finishing their lives, being already established people in France, and just about how they are finishing their lives. So I wouldn't read this book if I haven't read The Musketeers yet, the Three Musketeers. But I've read Three Musketeers like 12 years ago, and at least I knew the characters and the outline of the plot, so I thought that I can probably read this book without lacking important details. So the first thing that I wanted to know from this book, that I wanted to get from this book, is this mystery about who is hiding behind the Iron Mask. I thought that this is going to be the main plot line. We are going to figure out who is that person and how he belongs to France, you know, who he is in the society and why he's wearing this iron mask and what happens to him. This was my first hope, but I did not get it. And again, it's my expectations are my problem. But this was something that I really wanted to get from the book and that I didn't get from the book. It mainly focuses on the Musketeers, and our Man in the Iron Mask is just a way to bring the Musketeers up. So let's begin by discussing the problems that I thought I found in the book. So you know who the man in the Iron Mask is right from the start. It is King's twin brother, King Louis XIV. So this is his brother Philip, or Philippe, not sure how to pronounce it in French. And because he was a twin brother, King Louis XIII, their dad, decided to eliminate one of them and just take him away, because that way there will not be any sort of fighting between the brothers about who gets the throne, and there is not going to be fighting about who is older, who is younger, because back then it was considered that if they are twin brothers, they are both kind of God's senders, and they're both should be on the throne somehow. So he decided to eliminate one of his sons, and he took him away. So the other son was growing with two people who were close to the throne. And then something happened, and the boy was put to the Bastille, or Bastille, not sure, the prison. So starting from like his 12, 13 years old, he was in prison without coming out and without even knowing who he is and why he's in prison. And what surprised me is that his mom, the queen, didn't even try to save her kid. So was there no maternal instinct? Was there nothing just that kind of came out of her that made her want to save her baby? In the end of the day, that is her baby, the same prince as Louis XIV was. So that was the first thing that really surprised me. And the story begins with one of the former musketeers, Aramis, deciding that he doesn't like the current king. He is not going to become a cardinal with this king because he's not going to choose him. So he decides to save this twin brother from Bastille and bring him on the throne. And his idea is that since they're twin brothers, nobody's going to understand that the kings were interchanged, and Louis XIV will just sit in Bastille the same way as Prince Philippe is going to be a new king. So in itself, it can be a whole novel, just the plotting, what they did, which people they kind of employed to do that. But no, we switch the kings in like 100 pages, and it all comes very smoothly, very easily. And I was very upset that I didn't get more of that. So the prince obviously agrees to be placed instead of the real king. Aramis says, you will gain something from it, I will gain something from it, we will be friends. And what Aramis does is he asks one of his friends, former musketeers, Porthos, to help him. But he doesn't tell him what the help is going to be in. He doesn't tell him the truth. So he tells him that there is this man who is pretending that he's king, and the real king was put in Bastille. So we are gonna go take that not real king and switch them. So he literally tells him that the real king is actually not the real king, and they need to switch him with the real king, who is actually not the real king. So he kind of puts the situation upside down. And Porthos doesn't know what's going on. He thinks that he's acting for the king, and obviously he agrees to do that because he trusts his friend. And this is the second problem that I faced. How horrible of a friend are you if you do this thing? Because it's not a regular, like, mediocre plotting. This is the plotting against the king. You're a rebel. If something happens, if something goes wrong, they go after you and they kill you. The king will kill you for this. And he doesn't tell Porthos what's going on. He just says, okay, you know what? We're old friends. I'm acting for your sake, so let's do it. That was just horrible. I was so upset. And then what's more, the first thing Aramis does after they switch the kings, he tells one of the ministers what he did, because he thinks that this minister will appreciate this, because Louis XIV is not being super nice to this minister. So maybe a different king will be much better to him, and this will help him rise even more. But the minister obviously serves the real king, and he doesn't need any of that. So he's like, what did you do? I need to save the real king. And he goes and saves the real king. So Aramis has to run away, and he leaves this poor Prince Philippe, who just got out of prison, who doesn't know what's going on, leaves him to just deal with it himself, not understanding what consequences it can bring to the boy. And he takes Porthos with him, but even when they are fleeing, he doesn't tell him what's going on. He's like, oh, we are going to this and this place. We are going to help the king protect this, whatever it is, this castle. But instead, they actually go to this castle to hide there. But he decides not to tell his friend, one of his oldest friends. So obviously, the Prince Philippe, is seen by the real king, by the queen mother, by everybody. And still, they are treating him horribly. They put him into prison, and they put this iron mask on his face so that nobody sees that he looks the same as the king, which is just so horrible, because the king now has an opportunity to see what his mother did and undo this. His mom, the queen, finally sees, oh my God, this is my son, and he is the same as my other son. He has the same rights as my other son, and I made him leave so horribly. So instead of saving him and at least saying, you know what, we will offer you a nice life, we will offer you a title, you cannot ask to be a king, but at least you can live safely out. They put him back in prison and they put this iron mask on him. This is just so horrible and heartbreaking. And I thought, okay, maybe something will change. Maybe the prince will be out. Maybe something will happen. Maybe the king will change his mind. Maybe the queen will say something. But no, we don't hear about the prince for the rest of the book. I don't know, maybe if you read more of Alexandre Dumas' novels, maybe you know if there is another novel about Prince Philippe. Maybe there is kind of the next book that explains what happened to him and that gives more information about his life. But from here, I didn't get anything at all. So we just leave him at the point where he's put back in prison and he's wearing this iron mask. Now, I've already said that the king acted horribly towards the brother of his, towards Prince Philippe, but in general, King's actions were just so stupid throughout the book. So, first of all, he believes any information that he gets. Literally, one of his minister's rival gave him some information that he bought from someone, that is not necessarily even true, gave it to the king believed him and ruined the life of that minister. Literally ruined his life, his wife's life, their kid's life, put him in prison, and just didn't check the facts. Whatever. Why? I have a lot of people to spare. I can do whatever I want. I'm the king. So he acts so foolishly. He does these crazy things. He's a drama king. He just doesn't think. And when he is facing this Bastille, when they are switching the kings, he's acting just so horribly. He is shouting, he is like biting everybody, he's like scratching doors with his nails. And I understand that obviously you are scared, you've never been to these realities, but this is actually even a bigger reason to not put your twin brother back in prison. But no, he still does that. So the king is completely stupid. And then in the last like 60 pages, he comes out as this brilliant man again. Like, what? I don't understand. This is just stupid. I just don't understand the king's actions here. And I don't understand why all of these ministers are like, just do whatever he says. Obviously they can contradict him and they have discussions about what's right and what's wrong, but still, this is such a stupid person. Like, I understand that he's a king, but he's stupid. There has to be a limit to the stupidity. And then another thing is, obviously, the hunt for Aramis and Porthos starts, and he sends troops to that castle they're hiding in to get them and then hang them. So he loses 110 men in that fight. And then one of the other musketeers, D'Artagnan, says, please forgive my friends. They didn't know what they were doing. They just love you and they were just misled, and this is not going to happen again. And he says, okay. So literally you just lost 110 men. You had a tantrum about all that happened and you said, I need to kill these two people. And now you're saying, okay, not that I am for the death of those two. No, I'm not. But just how his mind just like completely blanks and changes. You lost 110 men. At least for that, like you lost them for nothing in the end of the day. So this is just so stupid for me, and I was so disappointed in the king. And of course I was very disappointed in Aramis, who brought his friend into this, and until the last moment, literally until the troops came to them and tried getting them, he wouldn't tell him what's going on. He would lie to his friend about why they are hiding. And then they fight and Porthos dies. So Aramis escapes and he's fine. And in the end of the day, he reconciles with the king. The king makes him his ambassador. They eat lunch together in the same room, which is like unknown to anybody else. It happens so rarely that the king invites you to dine with him, and he dines with the king. So he was his mortal enemy, and now suddenly he's an ambassador. He has a beautiful life. He lives completely fine. He is eating with the king. He sees his friends, and Porthos is dead. His friend who didn't know anything, who was a completely nice person, who just enjoyed living his life, is now dead because of this stupid thing that his friend did. It just made me so mad. This is so unlike what musketeers are supposed to be. One for all and all for one. I thought that this is kind of the motto, but I don't know, this was such a stupid thing. I was so angry and disappointed. And now let's transition a little bit to another plot line. There is another musketeer, the fourth one, Athos. He has a son, Raoul. And this son was in love with a woman who became king's mistress. So they were engaged, but she met the king, she fell in love with him, and she said, Raoul, I can't be with you, I love the king, and she became his mistress. And it was clearly that she actually loves the king. She's not with him for the money. It was clear that she actually loves the king. And Raoul says, I have to die now, because I will never love again, because now this is the only thing that I can do to forget about my love. And if 10 years ago, I would find it very romantic, today I find it very, very stupid. You are like 20 max, probably 18. You, let's say, break up with a woman that you loved, and you die. You decide to go to the battle with the purpose of dying, and this is just so stupid. You want this woman back. Don't you think it's better to find a woman that will actually love you than to make this woman who told you that she doesn't love you be with you? I just don't understand the logic behind it. This woman doesn't love me, so I have to die? I'm sorry, but half of modern world would just die if their first relationship didn't work. And I understand that we are a different time, but still, everybody told him, Raoul, there will be another woman that will love you. It's stupid to die for this woman. But no, obviously he dies, and of course his father dies from grief. So now we have two musketeers dead. D'Artagnan dies in the end too, and Aramis, who started this whole story, is fine. So nothing ever happens to Aramis. He started this whole huge thing, and then everybody's dead but him. He's fine, he's living, he's enjoying his life. And this is just ridiculous. I was so upset with the plot. And I can't deny that the language it's written in is beautiful, and you have romanticism connected with history, connected with this drama. Obviously, this is a great combination. You get classic Alexander Dumas with his plot lines and plot twists. But this particular book felt like he was trying to finish the series, and he needed to finish it so bad that he just took the first idea he thought of and put it in the book. And I was so disappointed. I had such high expectations for this book, and I was left with nothing. I was left so disappointed. The deaths were unnecessary. The king was stupid. Everything was just so weird. The Man in the Iron Mask doesn't appear after page like 150. So what was the point? Why do you start this whole affair with switching the kings if you are gonna tell somebody the next day and it all falls apart? Like, I read Queen Margot and that trilogy a year ago when I just started this channel. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was so great. It was, again, classic Dumas. and I really enjoyed all three of these books. But this, it's like 5 out of 10 for me. It's probably one of the worst rated books this year, and I'm so sad saying this, but this was just bad. This was so below the standard that I know. And if you read this book and if you liked it, or if you read any other novels by Alexandre Dumas, please tell me if you enjoyed this book or if you maybe found something better to read. So far I read The Three Musketeers, the original book, and then I read the Queen Margot trilogy. So please let me know if there is anything else that I can read by Alexandre Dumas that will not leave me, hungry, that will kind of give me that thrill that I used to feel reading Dumas. So yeah, I wasn't planning on making this video like this because I thought that I will have much less comments, but I just had so much to say and I had so much venting that I realized that I need to make a separate video about it. So please let me know if you read the book, what you think about it, or maybe if you know anything else by Alexandre Dumas that I should read. Leave that in the comments, and I really hope to know what your opinion on the book is. Thank you for watching this video. Again, please like this video and subscribe to my channel not to miss any future videos, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.